I was standing in a mahogany-paneled courtroom on March 14, 2024, watching my wife's face drain of color as my attorney held up Exhibit C, a detailed spreadsheet showing she'd checked my location 412 times in 127 days. And I realized the $400 anniversary backpack she'd given me with tears in her eyes was the reason she was about to lose everything. If you've got some time and maybe a strong drink, settle in. This is going to take a while. So why did I wait 4 months to confront her? Why not just rip off the Band-Aid the moment I found that AirTag hidden in the laptop sleeve? Because I needed to know everything. I needed proof that would stand up in court, proof that would leave no room for doubt, proof that would make sure she couldn't spin the story and make me the villain. And, trust me, by the time I was done, there was no story she could tell. Let me take you back to the beginning, back when I still believed in anniversary gifts. Back when I thought the woman I married was the person she pretended to be. Back to April 15, 2023, when Rebecca handed me that backpack with tears in her eyes and said, "I just want you to have everything you deserve." Turns out she meant surveillance, but I'm getting ahead of myself again. My name is Nathan Phillips. I'm 33, a physical therapist in Charlotte, North Carolina. I work with athletes mostly, helping them recover from torn ACLs and rotator cuff injuries. I'm good at my job, patient, detail-oriented. I listen to what my patients aren't saying as much as what they are. Turns out, I should have applied those same skills to my marriage. I met Rebecca in the fall of 2020 at a charity 5K. She was organizing the event for the hotel group she worked for, and I was volunteering as part of the medical support team. She pursued me, which at the time felt flattering. My previous relationships had been with women who were passive, waiting for me to make all the moves. Rebecca was different. She knew what she wanted, or at least I thought that was a good thing. Our first date, she planned everything. Picked the restaurant, made the reservation, even ordered for me before I could look at the menu. "Trust me," she'd said with this confident smile. "I know what you'll love." And she was right. The food was amazing. I remember thinking how nice it was to be with someone so decisive, so sure of herself. If you've ever ignored a red flag because it was wrapped in something that looked like confidence, you know exactly what I'm talking about. We got married in April 2022, 18 months of dating, which everyone said was fast, but we were in our 30s. We knew what we wanted, right? Rebecca handled all the wedding planning, guest list, venue, flowers, cake, everything. My job was to show up and say yes. My friends made jokes about it at the bachelor party. "Dude, she's very organized, huh?" my buddy Marcus said. Marcus and I went to PT school together, and he's been my best friend for over a decade. He had this look on his face that I didn't understand then. I do now. The first year of marriage was fine, good even. We bought a house in a nice Charlotte suburb, 3 bedrooms, small yard, mortgage that made me nervous, but Rebecca assured me we could handle. She took over managing our finances. "I'm better with numbers," she said, which was probably true. I'm good at anatomy and kinesiology, not Excel spreadsheets. She created a joint bank account, added both our names, and handled all the bills. I had full access to everything, but she was the one tracking it all. By the second year, I started noticing things, small things. She'd check my phone location on Find My more often. At first, it was just, "Hey babe, just wanted to make sure you got to work okay." Then it was multiple times a day. If I was 10 minutes late getting home from the gym, she'd text, "Where are you? You okay?" I told myself it was sweet. She cared about me. She worried. That's what love looks like, right? Wrong, but I didn't know that yet. By early 2023, Rebecca's career was really taking off. She'd been promoted to regional event coordinator for Lux Hospitality Group, this big, fancy hotel company. She was making close to $95,000 a year, handling corporate galas, weddings, conferences. She was good at her job, really good. The problem was the job required a lot of evening events. 1 or 2 a month turned into 2 or 3 a week. Vendor meetings, client dinners, Site visits. I was supportive. I'm not the kind of guy who gets jealous or insecure about his wife having a successful career. I was proud of her. I should have been suspicious. But I wasn't. I was exactly where I've always been, too trusting, too eager to believe the best in people, too conflict avoidant to ask the hard questions. April 2023, our 5th anniversary. I'd planned this whole surprise weekend trip to Asheville. Rebecca loves Asheville, the mountain views, the breweries, the artsy downtown. I'd booked a bed and breakfast, made dinner reservations at her favorite restaurant there, the whole thing. But when I told her, she got this weird look on her face. "Can we keep it low-key instead?" she said. "I'm so stressed with work. Let's just do dinner here in Charlotte." I was disappointed, but I didn't push. That's the thing about being conflict avoidant. You learn to swallow your disappointment and smile. So we did dinner at the Fig Tree, this upscale restaurant we'd been to on our 1st anniversary. Over dessert, she pulled out a gift bag. "I know we said no big gifts this year," she said, tearing up, "but I saw this and I thought of you." It was a North Face backpack. Not just any backpack, the exact one I'd been eyeing for months for my hiking hobby. $400, dark blue, and she'd even had it monogrammed with my initials, N.P. Nathan Phillips. I'm not ashamed to say I teared up. It was perfect, thoughtful, exactly what I'd wanted. "I just want you to have everything you deserve," she said, crying now. I reached across the table and squeezed her hand. "I love you so much," I told her. "You're the best thing that's ever happened to me." She cried harder. At the time, I thought it was because she was moved. Looking back, I wonder if it was guilt, because what I didn't know, what I wouldn't know for another 2 weeks, was that hidden inside that beautiful, thoughtful, monogrammed backpack was an AirTag. And that AirTag had been activated 11 days before our anniversary. She'd planned it, all of it. The gift, the surveillance, the control. But on that April night, sitting in that restaurant with candlelight flickering between us, I had no idea. I was just a guy who loved his wife and thought she loved him back. 2 weeks later, I went hiking with Marcus. It was a Saturday morning. Late April, perfect weather. I brought my new backpack, excited to finally use it for its intended purpose. We were about 2 miles into the trail when my iPhone buzzed. I pulled it out to check, thinking it was Rebecca texting. Instead, it was a notification I'd never seen before. "AirTag detected moving with you." "Dude, what's that about?" Marcus asked, looking over my shoulder. I stared at the screen, confused. "I don't know. Maybe someone dropped an AirTag on the trail." I dismissed the notification, and we kept hiking. I didn't think about it again that day. I should have checked the backpack right then. But I trusted her. That was my first mistake. The notification came back. At the gym on Monday, at work on Wednesday, always the same AirTag ID, always moving with me. By the 3rd time, I was more annoyed than suspicious. Finally, I opened the Find My app to see what the hell was going on. There it was, listed under Rebecca's devices. Nathan's backpack. My stomach did this weird flip. When had she added an AirTag to the backpack? And why? I stood in the parking lot of my clinic after work, just staring at my phone screen. The rational explanations ran through my head. Maybe she put it there in case the backpack got stolen. It was expensive. Or maybe she wanted to track the gift to surprise me on our anniversary, and just forgot to tell me about the AirTag afterward. I went home. Rebecca was in the kitchen, cooking dinner. She did that sometimes when she didn't have an evening event. She smiled when she saw me. "Hey babe, how was work?" "Normal." Everything was so completely normal. I almost convinced myself I was overreacting. "Good," I said. "Helped a kid with a torn ACL today. He's 16, plays soccer. Good kid." I set the backpack down on the bench by the door. "Hey, random question. Did you put an AirTag in my backpack?" She didn't even flinch. "Oh yeah, I meant to tell you." I figured since it was so expensive, if it ever got lost or stolen, we could track it. Smart, right? Yeah, I said. Smart. But here's the thing. I checked the AirTag settings that night after she went to bed. It had been activated on April 4th, 11 days before our anniversary, which meant she didn't put it in the backpack to protect the gift. She put it in there to track me. I didn't confront her. Not yet. Instead, I started paying attention. Really paying attention. The way I do when a patient tells me their knee is fine, but I can see them limping. Over the next few weeks, I noticed the pattern. Rebecca checked my location. Most often during her work events. Nights when she had a client gala or a vendor meeting, my phone would show that she'd find my multiple times. But on nights when she was home with me, she didn't check at all. And the texts. During her events, she'd text me constantly. "Hey babe, how's your night? What are you up to? Miss you." At first I thought it was sweet. Then I realized what she was doing. She was cross-referencing, checking to see if my texts matched my location, making sure I was exactly where I said I'd be. The irony would have been funny if it hadn't hurt so much. It was mid-June when everything clicked. June 12th, 2023. I remember the date because it was Game 5 of the NBA Finals, and I was watching at home. Rebecca had a big client gala at the Omni Hotel downtown. She left around 6 p.m., all dressed up, looking beautiful. She kissed me goodbye. "Don't wait up, babe. These things always run late." I watched the game, ordered pizza, checked my phone around halftime, and saw that Rebecca had checked my location. Then again, during the third quarter. Then again, at 11 p.m. 4 times in one evening, and I'd been exactly where I said I'd be. On our couch, watching basketball, not bothering anyone. That's when it hit me. She wasn't checking on me because she was worried about me. She was checking on me because she needed to know I wasn't checking on her. If you've ever had that moment where everything suddenly makes terrible sense, you know what I felt. It was like watching a puzzle solve itself in reverse. Every weird behavior, every late night, every defensive comment, they all lined up into one unavoidable conclusion. My wife was having an affair. I sat there in the dark living room, the TV still playing, and I felt my entire world tilt sideways. Part of me wanted to call her right then, scream, demand answers. But a bigger part of me, the methodical, detail-oriented part that makes me good at my job, knew I needed more than a hunch. I needed proof. So I made a decision. I didn't remove the AirTag. Instead, I decided to become the most boring, predictable husband on the planet. If she wanted to track me obsessively, I'd give her nothing to track. I created a routine so rigid, so unchanging that she'd have no reason to suspect. I suspected anything. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Gym from 6:30 to 8 p.m. Exactly. Same gym, same parking spot, if I could get it. Same workout. Saturday. Grocery shopping at 10 a.m. Same store, same time, same list. Every other moment, home, work, home. That's it. And while I was being boringly predictable, I started investigating. Because here's something most people don't know. If you have an iCloud family sharing account, you can see locations for all the devices on the account. Rebecca's iPhone, her iPad, her AirPods, everything. I started taking screenshots. Every time she said she was at a client event, I checked where her devices actually were. And let me tell you, they weren't where she said they'd be. June 28th, 2023. Rebecca told me she had a weekend vendor retreat in Asheville. 2 days, 1 night. She'd be back Sunday afternoon. She packed her little rolling suitcase, kissed me goodbye, told me she loved me. I said it back. I watched her drive away. Then I checked Find My. Her iPad location wasn't showing Asheville. It was showing Cornelius, North Carolina. A lake house address. 30 miles from our house, but definitely not Asheville. I took screenshots, sent them to myself in an encrypted email. My hands were shaking. That's when I knew I couldn't do this alone anymore. I needed help, professional help. July 20 to 23. I hired a private investigator, Jerry Castellano, referred by a divorce attorney I'd quietly consulted. Jerry was ex-cop, mid-50s, had seen everything. We met at a Starbucks far from our neighborhood. I showed him everything. The screenshots, the patterns, the lake house address. "How sure are you that you want to know?" Jerry asked me. His voice was kind but firm. He'd clearly asked this question before. "I'm already sure," I told him. "I just need proof." It took Jerry less than a week. On July 11th, 2023, he sent me an encrypted email with the subject line, "Call me when you're alone." I was sitting in my car in the clinic parking lot when I opened the report. There were photos. Lots of photos. Rebecca and a man I didn't recognize. Younger than me, maybe late 20s. The photos showed them entering the lake house in Cornelius, kissing in the driveway, arriving together at the Omni Hotel, where Rebecca claimed she had client events, holding hands in front of an apartment building in Charlotte's South End neighborhood. The report identified him. Tyler Brooks, 28 years old, Rebecca's assistant event coordinator, the guy she'd been mentoring for the past year. Jerry had cross-referenced the dates of the photos with the times Rebecca had checked my location on the AirTag. Every single time she'd checked where I was, she was with Tyler. Not once did she check my location during an actual work event, only when she was with him. I sat in that parking lot, and I broke. Completely, utterly broke. I cried until I couldn't breathe, punched the steering wheel until my hand hurt. Called my sister Emily, who lives in Raleigh, and told her everything. She wanted me to come stay with her right then, but I couldn't, not yet. "I need to finish this," I told her. My voice sounded like it belonged to someone else, someone harder, someone colder. That night I went home. Rebecca was there cooking dinner. She'd made chicken piccata, my favorite. She was in a great mood, humming along to music, smiling at me. "Hey, babe, I made your favorite. Hope you're hungry." I sat through that dinner, ate the food she'd made, laughed at her stories about work, knowing they were lies. We watched TV together after. She fell asleep with her head on my shoulder, and I sat there staring at the ceiling, feeling nothing and everything all at once. At 3 a.m., I got up and went to my home office. I created a folder on my laptop, called it Project Accountability. I uploaded every screenshot I'd taken, every PI report, every bank statement from our joint account. Then I opened Excel and created a spreadsheet. Column A, date. Column B, time. Rebecca checked my location. Column C, my actual location at that time. Column D, Rebecca's actual location at that time. Column E, what she told me she was doing. I filled in 4 months of data, every single check, all 412 of them. By the time the sun came up, I had a timeline so detailed, so irrefutable, that there was no story she could tell to explain it away. I looked at myself in the bathroom mirror that morning. July 12th, 2023. I looked exhausted, devastated, but something had shifted. I wasn't the naive guy who unwrapped that backpack on our anniversary anymore. I'd spent 33 years being the nice guy, the understanding guy, the guy who gave everyone the benefit of the doubt. But on that morning, I decided something. Nice guys finish last. Strategic ones finish first. And I was about to get very, very strategic. I met with my divorce attorney, Sarah Winters, in mid-July. Sarah had a reputation in Charlotte as a shark, the lawyer you hired when you wanted to win and you didn't care about playing nice. She reviewed all my evidence spread across her conference table. All the screenshots, the PI photos, the financial records, the AirTag data. "This is one of the cleanest infidelity cases I've seen in 15 years, she said. "She's essentially built your entire case for you." She looked up at me with something that might have been respect. Most betrayed spouses come to me with a gut feeling and some suspicious texts. You've come with a forensic audit. "I want to make sure she can't spin this," I told her. "I want every lie documented." Sarah explained North Carolina divorce law to me. NC is a fault state, which means adultery actually matters for alimony and asset division. Proof of infidelity could affect everything: property division, spousal support, the whole thing. And I had ironclad proof. "Here's my advice," Sarah said. "Don't confront her yet. Keep documenting for another 2 to 3 months. Build a case so airtight that her attorney will take one look and advise her to settle." So that's what I did. For 3 more months I lived a double life. By day, I was Nathan the physical therapist, Nathan the husband, Nathan who went to the gym like clockwork and came home and kissed his wife and asked about her day. By night, I was someone else, someone who took screenshots, someone who audited bank statements, someone who was building a trap so perfect that when it snapped shut, there would be no escape. And the bank statements. Oh man, the bank statements. I went through 18 months of records from our joint account, every charge, every transaction, and I found things that made my blood boil. Charges to the Lake House Airbnb in Cornelius, $3,200 over 6 weekends listed as corporate retreat planning. Charges to the Omni Hotel during Rebecca's client events, $4,800 total, but her company should have been paying for those if they were real work events. Restaurant charges, always for 2 people, always on weekends when she claimed to be working, $2,100. A couple's massage and spa day at the Omni, when a $400, and the itemized receipt showed treatments for 2 people. Tyler's gym membership, you won $800 annually, which Rebecca had justified to me as a networking investment. Various gifts purchased at menswear stores, watches, cologne, nice clothes, $5,600 total, none of which were for me. The total came to $18,700. $18,700 of our money, money I earned treating patients in pain, money we were supposedly saving for our future, spent on her affair. I created another spreadsheet. Date, amount, merchant, what Rebecca told me it was for, what it actually was for. Every single dollar documented. On August 8th, my birthday, Rebecca took me out to a fancy dinner and gave me a Rolex. A guilt gift, obviously. 2 weeks later, on her birthday, I gave her AirPods Pro. "I know you're always losing your earbuds, babe," I told her with a smile. "These have Find My built-in, so you'll never lose them." She was so touched, hugged me. "You're so thoughtful. I love you so much." I hugged her back, told her I loved her too, the whole time thinking, now I can track your AirPods too. Cross-reference your phone location with your AirPods location. See if they're ever in different places, which would mean you deliberately left your phone somewhere to create an alibi. She never suspected a thing. August through October 2023, 90 days of robot mode. I was so predictable, so routine, that my friends started making jokes. "Dude, you okay?" Marcus asked me one night at the gym. "You've been like a machine lately." "Just focused," I told him. "Got some things I'm working through." Meanwhile, I documented everything. Rebecca checked my AirTag location 412 times over those 127 days. I have the exact number because I saved every single notification, every single timestamp. On average, she checked 3.24 times per day. Some days it was 0, other days it was 7 or 8 times. The heavy check days were always when she was with Tyler. Jerry's PI surveillance continued. More photos, more video. Tyler and Rebecca at restaurants. Walking hand in South End. Arriving at the lake house together. Leaving together hours later. On one memorable occasion, Jerry caught them making out in her car in the Omni Hotel parking garage. The timestamp on that photo showed Rebecca had checked my location twice during that makeout session, making sure I was safely at home, unaware while she had her tongue down another man's throat. I saw a therapist starting in September, Dr. Michelle Rothstein. I didn't tell Rebecca, obviously. Dr. Rothstein helped me process what I was going through, the betrayal, the anger, the planning. She asked me once if I thought the documentation was becoming obsessive. "Maybe," I admitted, "but it's the only thing keeping me sane right now. I need control over something. Just make sure it's not consuming you," she said gently. Make sure you're still leaving room to actually heal, not just plan revenge. I told my support system, my sister Emily, who was ready to drive down from Raleigh and commit murder on my behalf, my best friend Marcus, who offered to help me hide bodies, my parents, who were heartbroken but supportive. None of them told anyone else. They all treated Rebecca normally when they saw her, though I noticed my mom's hugs got shorter and Emily's smiles got sharper. Rebecca didn't seem to notice. By October, Sarah and I had everything ready. 3 massive binders full of evidence. Binder 1, AirTag tracking data, organized in a color-coded timeline that would make a forensic accountant weep with joy. Binder 2, PI surveillance, time-stamped photos and video, cross-referenced with Rebecca's location checks. Binder 3, financial records, all $18,700 itemized and highlighted. Binder 4, text message logs showing Rebecca's checking in texts, perfectly aligned with her location checks. "This is nuclear," Sarah said, flipping through the binders. "When do you want to drop it?" "I want to confront her first," I told her. "Recorded. I want her to lie to my face one more time. I want it on record." Sarah raised an eyebrow. "You know that's risky, right? If she lawyers up before the confrontation." "She won't," I said, "because she doesn't know I know, and I'm going to pick my moment perfectly." October 28, 2023, Rebecca's big annual event, the Lux Hospitality Gala at the Omni. She'd been planning it for months. It was her showcase event, the thing that would potentially get her promoted to VP of Events. She was stressed but excited. That morning, I helped her pick out her dress. A navy blue gown that looked stunning on her. I zipped up the back, kissed her shoulder, told her she was going to be amazing. "I love you," she said, turning to face me. "You're the best husband. I know I've been crazy busy with work lately. I promise, after this event, we'll take a vacation. Just us. Maybe that Asheville trip you wanted." "I'd love that," I said, smiling. "I love you too." And that was the last time I would ever say those words to her and mean them. I picked the confrontation date carefully. November 3rd, 2023. A Friday evening. It was exactly 6 months since I'd started documenting. It was the day after Rebecca returned from her Seattle work trip. A trip I knew Tyler had been on because Jerry tracked them both to the same hotel. A trip where she'd checked my location 38 times over 3 days, making sure I stayed home like a good little husband, while she and her boy, Toy, played couple on company time. November 3rd was perfect because it was a Friday. If things went badly, and they would, I'd have the weekend to fall apart before I had to show up to work on Monday. I spent that afternoon setting up, charged my phone fully, opened the voice recorder app, set my phone face down on the coffee table where the microphone would pick up everything. I'd checked North Carolina law 3 times to make sure. One-party consent state, meaning I could legally record a conversation I was part of without telling the other person. This recording would be admissible in court. Rebecca got home around 4 p.m. that Friday. She'd left Seattle that morning, caught a connecting flight through Atlanta, and she was tired. But she was also affectionate, which was standard after her trips. Guilt made her extra loving. "I missed you so much, babe," she said, dropping her suitcase and hugging me. She smelled like airplane and expensive perfume. Seattle was exhausting but successful. I think we're going to land that account. "That's great," I said, hugging her back. "I'm proud of you." We ordered Thai food for dinner, her favorite. Sat on the couch eating pad Thai and talking about our weeks like a normal couple. She told me stories about Seattle, about the conference center, about the difficult client she'd been trying to impress. I knew at least half of it was lies, maybe all of it. But I let her talk. I even asked follow-up questions. After dinner, I said, "Hey, can we talk in the living room?" She looked at me, and for just a second I saw fear flicker across her face, but she masked it quickly. "Of course, babe. What's on your mind? Everything okay?" We sat on the couch. I reached down and casually started the recording on my phone. Then I stood up and walked to the closet by the front door, pulled out the North Face backpack, set it on the coffee table between us. "I want to start by talking about this," I said. "Our anniversary gift." Rebecca looked at the backpack, then at me. "You love that backpack. You use it all the time." "I do," I said. "I found something interesting inside it, though." I reached into the laptop sleeve and pulled out the AirTag, held it up. The little white disc looked so innocent in my hand. "This," I said, "hidden in the laptop sleeve." Rebecca stared at it. The color was already starting to drain from her face. "What? What is that?" "You know what it is, Rebecca. It's been tracking me for 6 months." Long pause. She was calculating. I could see it happening. Should she deny? Should she explain? Should she cry? She went with crying. "Nathan, I can explain." "Please do," I said, sitting back down. "I'd love to hear it. The tears were starting. "I wanted to make sure you were safe. You're always out hiking, and I worry about you. What if something happened and I didn't know where you were?" "Safe," I repeated. "You were worried about my safety." "Yes." "Is that so wrong?" "I love you, Nathan. I just wanted—" "You've checked my location 412 times in 127 days, Rebecca. That's 3.2 times per day, every single day, for 4 months straight." Her face went completely white. "How do you—" "Find my keeps records," I said calmly. "All of them. Every single check is logged with a timestamp." "Did you not know that?" She couldn't speak. I pulled out my iPad from behind a couch cushion, where I'd hidden it earlier, opened the spreadsheet, turned it around to show her. "Here's what's interesting," I continued. My voice was so calm it surprised even me. "You mostly checked my location during your client events. Why is that?" "I don't know, I had downtime at events and thought of you. Thought of me, while you were with Tyler." The silence that followed was so complete, so total, that I could hear the refrigerator humming in the kitchen. I could hear a car driving past outside. I could hear Rebecca's breath catching in her throat. "Tyler," she finally said. Her voice was tiny. "My assistant! What are you talking about?" "Don't," I said. The word came out harder than I intended. "Please don't insult me more than you already have." I pulled out my phone, not the one recording, my backup phone, and opened the photo album Jerry had sent me. Started swiping through the photos, slowly, one by one, showing her each image. July 8th, Cornelius Lake House, you and Tyler. Swipe. July 15th, Tyler's apartment in South End, you and Tyler. Swipe. July 22nd, Omni Hotel parking garage, you and Tyler. Swipe. August 3rd, restaurant in Noda, you and Tyler. Swipe, swipe, swipe. Rebecca was crying now, full-on sobbing, but she wasn't saying anything. What could she say? "Every single time you checked my location," I said, still swiping through photos, "you were with him. Not once, not one single time, did you check my location during an actual work event. Only when you were with Tyler." "Nathan, please, I'm not done." I set down the phone with the photos, picked up a printed spreadsheet. "Let's talk about money, specifically $1,800. I saw her eyes go wide. "That's how much of our money. Money I earned treating patients in pain, money we were supposedly saving for our future. You spent on your affair." I started reading from the spreadsheet. "Tyler's gym membership, what, $800 annually, which you told me was a networking investment. Couples massages at the Omni Spa, $400. Itemized receipt shows treatments for 2 people. Lake House rentals in Cornelius, $3,200 over 6 weekends, listed as corporate retreat planning. But funny thing, your company has no record of authorizing those rentals." I kept going. Every charge, every lie, every dollar. Rebecca put her head in her hands. You bought him a Tag Heuer watch for his birthday, I said. $1,200. You've never bought me a watch in 7 years. Nathan, I'm so sorry. She was sobbing so hard she could barely speak. I need you to answer one question for me, Rebecca, and I need the truth. I waited until she looked up at me. When you gave me this backpack on our anniversary with tears in your eyes telling me you wanted me to have everything I deserved, did you mean it? She couldn't answer, just sat there crying. Or was it just a way to keep tabs on the husband you were already betraying? I did love you. I do love you. This was just, you loved me so much, I said, my voice breaking for the first time, that you hid a tracking device and a symbol of our marriage. You loved me so much that you spent our money on another man. You loved me so much that you checked my location 412 times to make sure I stayed ignorant while you fucked your assistant in hotels we can't afford. Please, Nathan, I made a mistake. We can work through. You want to know the saddest part? I asked. I felt tears on my face now. Every single time you check my location, I was exactly where I said I'd be. Work, gym, home, work, gym, home, like clockwork. I was always exactly where I said I'd be. I let that hang there for a moment. Can you say the same? Rebecca completely broke. Couldn't even form words, just collapsed into these horrible, gasping sobs. I filed for divorce 2 weeks ago, I said. You'll be served on Monday morning. Her head snapped up. Nathan, please, we can work through this. Work through what, Rebecca? The affair, the surveillance, the 18-700. Which part should we work through? I'll end it with Tyler. I'll do anything, therapy, anything you want. It's already over, I said. I've taken my name off the joint accounts as of this morning. I've moved half our savings to my personal account, which is my legal right under North Carolina law. I've documented everything, every lie, every location check, every dollar, every hotel stay, all of it. I stood up, picked up the backpack. You can keep the backpack or burn it, I don't care. I looked at her one more time. But you should know I'm giving all of this evidence to my attorney, and when we go to court, everyone is going to know exactly what you are. You recorded this. It wasn't a question. She was staring at my phone on the table. I picked it up, stopped the recording, showed her the screen. Every word. It's legal in North Carolina. One-party consent. Nathan! Her voice was pure horror now. You tracked me for 127 days, I said. I tracked you back for the same amount of time. The difference is, I was always exactly where I said I'd be. I walked to the door, grabbed my pre-packed duffel bag from the hall closet. I'd prepared it that morning. Nathan, please! She was screaming now, scrambling off the couch. Please don't do this! I opened the door, walked out, got in my car, started the engine. I could see her in the doorway, illuminated by the porch light still screaming my name. I drove away, didn't look back. It was a 90-minute drive to Emily's house in Raleigh. I made it about 20 minutes before I had to pull over on the side of I-85, because I was crying so hard I couldn't see the road. I sat there in my car, on the shoulder of the interstate. Hazard lights blinking, and I cried until there was nothing left. Called Emily, told her I was on my way. She said she'd have the guest room ready and a bottle of whiskey open. When I finally got to her house, it was after midnight. She took one look at me and just pulled me into a hug. Didn't say anything, just held me while I cried, for what felt like hours. Eventually, she got me to the guest room, brought me water, sat on the edge of the bed. I did it, I said finally. My voice was wrecked. I know, Emily said. I'm so proud of you. Why does it still hurt so much? Because you loved her, and that part was real for you, even if it wasn't for her. I stayed at Emily's house for the entire weekend. Didn't turn on my phone until Sunday night. When I did, there were 73 missed calls from Rebecca. 46 text messages ranging from, "Please call me," to, "I'm so sorry," to, You're ruining everything, too. I can't believe you're doing this to me. I didn't respond to any of them. Monday morning, November 6th. The process server delivered the divorce papers to Rebecca at work, at Lux Hospitality headquarters, during a meeting with her boss and the VP of events. I know because Jerry was still conducting surveillance, and he saw the whole thing. She was completely humiliated. She called me 27 times that day. I didn't answer once. The fallout started immediately. Rebecca's parents, conservative, traditional people from a small town in South Carolina, learned about the affair. Her father, Richard, called me. "Nathan, we're horrified. We raised her better than this. We're so sorry." "Thank you," I said. "That means a lot." "Susan wants to talk to you," he said. "She's in denial, thinks this is all a misunderstanding." "It's not," I said, "but I'm happy to send you the evidence package if you want to see for yourself." I emailed them a curated version, enough to prove the affair, not so much that it would completely destroy their relationship with their daughter. After Susan saw the financial records, she stopped defending Rebecca. Rebecca's younger sister Melissa texted me. "I'm so sorry, Nathan. You deserved so much better. She's been lying to all of us." That one actually made me cry again. Melissa had always been sweet. Our friend group imploded. Nathan and Rebecca's couple friends had to choose sides. Most of them chose mine, especially after I started sharing the evidence with those who asked. Jake and Sarah, who'd been mutual friends for years, called me together. "Bro, this is insane," Jake said. "We had no idea." "Rebecca told us you were controlling," Sarah added, "that she was scared to tell you she wanted more independence. She's been lying to everyone." "Yeah," I said, "she's good at that." About 80% of our friend group sided with me after seeing the evidence. The other 20% either stayed neutral or quietly ghosted both of us. Rebecca became increasingly socially isolated. Invitations dried up. When she did show up to group events, people were polite but cold. She noticed. Of course she noticed. Someone, I never confirmed who, sent the PI photos to Tyler's girlfriend. Yes, Tyler had a girlfriend the whole time. She found out about the affair and lost it. Posted a vague Instagram story that went viral in Charlotte young professional circles. PSA, check who your ex is dating. Some people have no morals. People connected the dots fast. Rebecca's Instagram became a nightmare. Old posts from happier times got flooded with comments. "Homewrecker. Fake. Hope it was worth it. Karma's coming." She ended up making her account private and deleting most of her photos. The professional consequences were somehow even worse. Tyler quit Lux Hospitality immediately after his girlfriend confronted him. Just walked out one day and didn't come back. But that triggered an HR investigation into his relationship with Rebecca. Superior-subordinate relationships require disclosure to HR, and they'd never disclosed anything. The investigation uncovered more. Rebecca had approved Tyler's salary increase in July. She'd allocated company budget for events that turned out to be personal trips. She'd used the company credit card for charges that couldn't be justified. About $6,000 worth. Mid-November, Rebecca was suspended pending investigation. By December, she was terminated, fired for ethics violations and misuse of company funds. She lost her $95,000 salary. Had to repay the company $6,000. At 31 years old, she'd destroyed her career in event planning, an industry that's all about reputation and trust. Meanwhile, I'd made some strategic financial moves before the confrontation. North Carolina is an equitable distribution state, which means marital assets are divided fairly, but not necessarily equally. I'd removed my name from our joint checking account and moved 50% of the savings to my own account, exactly what I was legally entitled to. I kept my retirement account, which was separate and untouchable. I kept the car that was in my name, which was paid off. Rebecca kept her car, which still had a $28,000 loan. She kept her retirement account. And she kept the house, except she couldn't afford the mortgage without my income and her job. $2,800 a month is a lot when you're unemployed. By February 2024, Rebecca was forced to sell the house. The market was down. She sold at a loss. After closing costs and splitting the proceeds, she walked away with about $31,000. She moved into a small one-bedroom apartment in a significantly worse neighborhood. Tyler broke up with her in late November. Apparently, he told mutual friends, "She's too toxic. This whole thing is a disaster. I just want it out." So Rebecca lost her husband, her boyfriend, her job, her house, and most of her friends in the span of about 3 weeks. I wish I could say I felt nothing. That would make this story simpler. But the truth is, I felt a lot of things. Relief, vindication, and, yeah, some satisfaction. But also, something else. Something darker that I wasn't proud of. Mid-December, Rebecca's sister Melissa called me. She was crying. "Nathan, I need to tell you something. Rebecca tried to hurt herself last night." My blood went cold. "What?" "She took a bunch of sleeping pills. I found her and called 911. She's okay, but they kept her in the psych ward for 72 hours, mandatory hold." I couldn't speak for a moment. "Is she getting help?" "Yes. She's in therapy now, intensive. But Nathan," Melissa's voice broke, "some of our family is saying you went too far, that you destroyed her on purpose." "Is that what you think?" I asked quietly. "No," she said. "I think she destroyed herself. But she's still my sister, and I'm scared she's going to try again." "I'm sorry, Melissa," I said, and I meant it. "I really am. But I can't be responsible for her mental health, not anymore. I know you're right. I just needed you to know." I told Dr. Rothstein about the suicide attempt in my next session. "How do you feel?" she asked. "Honestly, I don't know. Part of me feels terrible. Part of me thinks that's not my responsibility anymore." "You're right, it's not," Dr. Rothstein said. "But it's normal to still feel something. You spent 7 years with this person. You don't just stop caring overnight." "Did I go too far?" I asked. The question had been eating at me. "Did you lie about anything you revealed?" "No, everything was true." "Then you didn't go too far. You held up a mirror. What she sees in it isn't your fault." That helped, but I still thought about it. Still wondered. If you've ever done something that was completely justified but still felt somehow wrong, you understand what I mean. Justice and guilt can coexist in the same space. The actual divorce hearing was in March 14th, 2024, which is where this whole story started. Sarah, my attorney, presented the evidence exactly as we'd planned, in devastating layers. "Your Honor," Sarah began, "this case is about premeditation, control, and betrayal. Mrs. Phillips didn't just have an affair, she weaponized her marriage." She presented Layer 1, the anniversary gift. Mrs. Phillips gave her husband a $400 backpack on their 5th anniversary. A thoughtful gift, or so it seemed. Hidden inside was an AirTag, a tracking device that Mrs. Phillips had activated 11 days before their anniversary. This wasn't a gift of love, it was an instrument of control, disguised as one. Layer 2, the obsessive surveillance. Over 127 days, Mrs. Phillips checked Mr. Phillips's location 412 times. That's an average of once every 7.4 hours. This isn't concern for a spouse's safety. This is compulsive, controlling behavior. Layer 3, the calculated deception. Mrs. Phillips only checked her husband's location during times she claimed to be at work events that were, in fact, meetings with her lover. She was creating an alibi for herself while ensuring her husband remained ignorant. Layer 4, the financial betrayal. Mrs. Phillips spent $18,700 of marital funds on her affair. Hotel rooms, romantic dinners, gifts for her lover, spa treatments, all while her husband believed they were building a future together. Sarah entered everything into evidence. The binders, the spreadsheets, the PI photos, the recording of our confrontation, all of it. Rebecca's attorney had nothing. What could he say? The evidence was overwhelming. Rebecca sat at her table, crying silently, her parents behind her in the gallery. Her father wouldn't even look at her. The judge, a woman in her 60s who'd probably seen 1,000 cases like this, reviewed everything with an expression that gave nothing away. Then she ruled. In light of the evidence presented, particularly the documented adultery and misappropriation of marital funds, the court rules as follows. Divorce is granted. No alimony will be awarded to either party. Mr. Phillips is entitled to retain 60% of the remaining marital assets as compensation for funds misappropriated by Mrs. Phillips. Mrs. Phillips is ordered to repay her portion of the documented affair expenses, $350 to Mr. Phillips within 12 months. I'd won. Completely. The legal system had validated everything. As we left the courtroom, Rebecca tried to approach me one more time. Nathan, I'm so sorry. I stopped, looked at her, really looked at her. She'd gained weight. Her hair was unwashed. She looked exhausted and defeated and small. I hope you find help, Rebecca, I said, and I meant it. I really do, but I can't be part of your healing. You need to do that on your own. I walked away. Emily was waiting for me outside the courthouse. My parents, Marcus, my whole support system. They took me to lunch, celebrated the victory, but I couldn't really feel it. I sat in my car afterward, alone in the parking lot, and I didn't feel victorious. I felt empty. The court agreed with me, my family agreed with me, my friends agreed with me. So why did I still feel like I'd lost something? Maybe you can't go through something like that without losing a piece of yourself. The question was, could I find a new piece to put in its place? The first few months after the divorce were strange. I rented a small condo in Charlotte's Plaza Midwood neighborhood, 1 bedroom, minimalist. I didn't try to replace what I'd had. Didn't rush to fill the space with stuff. I needed the emptiness for a while. I kept seeing Dr. Rothstein weekly. We talked about everything, the marriage, the betrayal, the revenge, the guilt. How are you feeling? She asked one session in April. Lighter, I admitted, and guilty about feeling lighter. Grief and relief can coexist, she said. You can be sad about what you lost and grateful to be free of it at the same time. That made sense. I was both. I started hiking again, every weekend solo. I bought a new backpack, not North Face, a local brand called Mystery Ranch. The first hike without the AirTag weight. I can't fully explain it. It felt like I could breathe again. Like I'd been walking around with a weight on my chest for a year and suddenly it was gone. I tried rock climbing for the first time. Rebecca had always said it was too dangerous, too reckless, but I'd always wanted to try. So I joined a climbing gym, took a beginner's class, fell in love with it. The physical challenge, the mental focus, the community of people who didn't know anything about my story and didn't care. Marcus became my self-appointed social coordinator. Dude, you're not allowed to become a hermit, he declared. We're going out. He dragged me to trivia nights, introduced me to people, got me on a team with guys from the climbing gym. And slowly, very slowly, I started laughing again. The first time I cracked up at a stupid joke during trivia, something about a pun involving philosophy and vegetables. I realized I'd forgotten what it felt like to laugh without checking over my shoulder. Work became a refuge. I threw myself into it, started taking pro bono cases for athletes who couldn't afford physical therapy, found real purpose in helping people heal. The irony wasn't lost on me. I was healing people's physical pain while trying to heal my own emotional pain. My supervisor called me into her office in June. Nathan, you've been incredible this year. Your patient satisfaction scores are through the roof. We want to offer you a partnership. I accepted. It was the first major life decision I made entirely for myself, without having to consider anyone else's opinion or needs. It felt good. I heard updates about Rebecca occasionally, through mutual friends or Melissa. She'd moved to Raleigh to live with her sister, found a job as an administrative assistant at a medical office. Huge step down from her previous role, but at least it was something. She was still in therapy. Tyler had moved to Atlanta, completely out of the picture. Rebecca occasionally posted on social media, mostly generic quotes about growth and accountability. Whether it was performative or genuine, I didn't know. Didn't care. In August, I met someone. Her name was Olivia. She was a pediatric nurse, 31, and I met her at the climbing gym. We started as climbing partners. She was better than me, patient when I struggled en routes, encouraging without being condescending. After a particularly good climbing session, she asked if I wanted to grab coffee. We sat at a cafe in Plaza Midwood, and she asked about my divorce. Not in a nosy way, just honest curiosity. I'm probably going to be overly cautious in relationships for a while, I warned her. Fair warning, she smiled. I've got my own baggage. We can be cautious together. We took it slow, really slow. Didn't rush into anything. On our fourth date, I told her the whole story, all of it. The AirTag, the affair, the documentation, the confrontation, everything. She listened without interrupting. When I finished, she said, Wow, how are you so normal? I laughed. Therapy, lots of therapy. Do you still have trust issues? She asked. Direct. I appreciated that. Yeah, I admitted. When you go out with friends, I feel anxious. When you're late texting back, my stomach drops. But that's my stuff, not yours. I'm working on it. I appreciate you being honest, she said. I won't be punished for someone else's mistakes. But I also won't give you reasons to worry. Deal? Deal. And she kept that promise. Olivia was healthy in ways Rebecca never was. She had boundaries. She communicated clearly. When she said she was somewhere, she was there. When she said she'd call, she called. It sounds basic, but after Rebecca, basic felt revolutionary. We made it official in September, started dating exclusively. My anxiety didn't disappear overnight. There were moments I had to actively fight the urge to check her location or ask where she was. But Olivia was patient. And more importantly, she held me accountable. I understand you have trust issues, she said once when I got weird about her going to a girls' night. But I'm not going to check in every hour to ease your anxiety. You need to work through that. She was right, and I did work through it. With Dr. Rothstein's help, with time, with Olivia's consistent trustworthiness. Slowly, the anxiety faded. October 2024, 1 year after the confrontation. I took the North Face backpack, which I'd been storing in my closet, unable to throw away or donate, and brought it to a men's shelter. Left the monogram visible. Didn't hide my past. I wrote a note and attached it. Hope this serves someone better than it served me. Felt like a weightlifting. November 2024. I was hiking with Olivia. Beautiful fall day, leaves changing, crisp air. We were taking a water break when she asked, "Do you still think about her?" "Sometimes," I said honestly, "but it's like thinking about a scar. I remember it hurt, but I don't feel the pain anymore." "That's good, right?" "Yeah, it is." And it was true. I wasn't the same guy who'd unwrapped that backpack on his anniversary, believing his wife loved him. That guy was gone. But maybe that was okay. Maybe I liked this version better. This version who knew his worth, who wouldn't accept breadcrumbs disguised as love, who could hike without an AirTag, who could love someone who actually deserved it. So, here we are, December 2024. I'm recording this whole thing as a voice memo, sitting in my condo. Olivia's in the other room making dinner. I can hear her humming something off-key. It's a small, ordinary moment, and it feels like everything. Last I heard, Rebecca is still in Raleigh, still at the administrative job, dating someone new, a guy from her church. She started going to church, apparently. Melissa says she seems quieter, more careful. Whether that's growth or just fear, I don't know. I hope it's growth. I really do. I don't wish her harm. I just wish her away from me, living her own life, figuring out her own stuff. Tyler got engaged to someone in Atlanta. I saw it on LinkedIn, felt absolutely nothing. Couldn't even remember what he looked like if you asked me now. People ask me sometimes if I regret how I handled it, if I went too far. Honestly, I don't know. I know I didn't lie. Everything I revealed was true. But did I need to document every single location check? Did I need to itemize every dollar? Maybe not. Maybe I could have just confronted her and walked away. But here's the thing. I needed to know I'd done everything I could to protect myself, because for 5 years I hadn't protected myself at all. I'd ignored red flags, rationalized controlling behavior, made excuses for someone who didn't deserve them, and I needed to prove to myself that I wouldn't make that mistake again. If you're listening to this and you're in a relationship where you feel tracked, controlled, or like you're walking on eggshells, trust that feeling. I ignored so many red flags because I didn't want to be the paranoid guy, the jealous guy, the untrusting guy. But you know what's worse than being those things? Being the guy who knew something was wrong and did nothing. The backpack is gone. The marriage is gone. The man I was, the one who thought love meant accepting anything, he's gone too. What's left is this. A guy who knows his worth. A guy who can hike without an AirTag. A guy who can love someone who actually deserves it. And honestly, that's exactly where I should be. "Dinner's ready," Olivia calls from the kitchen. "I'll be right there," I call back. I stop this recording, close my laptop, walk toward the sound of someone who chose me. Not because I was trackable, not because I was convenient, but because I was worth choosing. 5 years ago, my wife hid an AirTag in my anniversary gift to track me while she cheated. Today, I don't need anyone to track me. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. And I got here all on my own.